welcome to the Activated Storytellers 83rd podcast, July 31st, 2008.
This week's story is Stone Soup from Eastern Europe.
Blueberry.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And I'm back, and also Zephyr.
And together we are
The Activated Storytellers.
We are coming to you this week from Pennsylvania, just on the outskirts of Philadelphia. We'll tell you all about some of the places that we've been in just a second. But first of all, I want to point out that last time we podcast, we had a mention about Skype. And I just want to kind of point out a little bit more about Skype and what it is. It is a software that you can download on your computer to make calls over the internet for free to other Skype users, or if you want to call a landline or a cell phone, you can do it for pennies. We'll put a link up to that on our show notes.
And our story, Stone Soup, is coming right up in just a few minutes, but first, we'd like to tell you a bit about what we've been up to, some of the places we've been lately.
Right. We had shows in Monessen and Pocono Pines, and when you hear this, we will have performed in Philadelphia, because that show's on the 30th.
Monessen, in case you don't know, is just below Pittsburgh, so we've gone from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia.
And Pocono Pines is up in the mountains.
So Pittsburgh, Pocono, and Philadelphia, all within a couple of weeks.
And we had a chance to go through Harrisburg a couple of times as we were traipsing across the state. And we actually got to stop and have some fun in Harrisburg. Harrisburg is the capital of Pennsylvania.
Yes, and the downtown district around the capital has some really classic architecture, very old-looking city. And you know what really impressed me about Harrisburg is there seems to be a real sense of community, even downtown.
Yeah, well, they have a wonderful bike ride that loops around the city. It was 20 miles, and Dennis and I took our bikes out one day and went around the whole city.
That's right. It goes along the Susquehanna River, and it goes through Wildwood Park,
which was beautiful. Huge lilies and a big pond, and absolutely gorgeous. It's almost like you're not even in the city when you're on this bike loop.
It's an amazing nature preserve. Quite an incredible variety of birds flying around, and all these wild things like lilies and things you'd find in a marsh, but quite a variety of plants and animals, or flora and fauna, as they would say.
Right. And actually, this bike loop was designed by a student of the same guy who designed the Central Park in New York City.
Oh, I did not know that.
It was. And you'll notice that Zephyr's not joining us in our conversation about Harrisburg. Why is that?
Well, because I kind of wasn't really there for it, so I can't add too much. I actually met up with my folks in Harrisburg after coming back up from North Carolina, where I was with my band. Our other guitarist family was going on a vacation up to New York, so I tagged my ride back along with them. It was a very long day. It started at 5 a.m. and I was in a car all day, but here I am, alive and arguably well.
So Zephyr was spending some time with his band in North Carolina, and we dropped him off in West Virginia and picked him up in Harrisburg. Well, this week's story comes from a request by Sean Bavala of Storyteller.net. Now, we mentioned Sean last time when we were talking about using Skype, and Sean runs Storyteller.net, where you can find oodles of storytellers. It's a wonderful site. So if you're looking for a storyteller and we can't make it there, check out Storyteller.net. Lots to pick from there. So anyway, we chose the story this week because it illustrates how you can make something out of nothing.
Oh, that sounds like a very useful skill to have.
This week's story is Stone Soup. Once upon a time, there was a great famine, and people were hoarding all of the food that they had. Nobody wanted to share.
No, you can't have my food. Go away. Get your own food.
I don't have any food.
In a town this hungry, there's nothing left to eat.
Get your eyes off my rutabagas. I see you staring at them.
Well, one day, a soldier came into the village, and it looked as if he was planning to stay. And, of course, it was customary then to feed anybody who passed through the village.
Up, up, troops, halt! Oh, that's me. Hi there, folks. Listen, could you spare something to eat for a soldier who's served his country admirably well?
There's no food around here, you see. We've had a famine, and there's no food.
Famine? You talk about famine, you should try being up on the front lines. Come on, spare just a crust of bread.
I really wish that I could, but I'm telling you, there's just no food around here.
Yeah, no food, so I wonder what they grow in all those gardens there. Well, I tell you what, you're in luck today because I know of a magical way to cook up some food for everybody.
What? For everybody, did you say?
Yep. Here, you see this big iron pot here? We'll just build a fire under that. And take a look at this. A magic stone.
I must say, sir, I am beginning to question your tactics.
Yep, magic stone produces food. Hey, I traded 5 beans for this.
Hey, Henry, get a load of this. He's going to make soup out of a stone. Soup out of a stone?
Stone soup? That sounds like a magazine or something.
This I gotta see. Yeah, you can't get turnip out of a stone. All right, let's start the fire here. Put in the water. Now all we gotta do is put the stone in and let it simmer for a while, and before long we have a nice big pot of stew.
Hey, if we're all standing here watching it, will it still boil?
That's a very good question. I'll have to consult my philosopher about that. Boom, 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 boom.
Please hold. Your pot will be done boiling in just a few moments. In the meantime, please enjoy the music. Boom, 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 boom.
Just standing here waiting. You know what? Yeah, it's too bad, I tell you. I'm afraid it's not going to taste quite as good without some parsley to put in it. You know, if somebody just had some parsley, that would really make the grade.
Parsley? I have a little bit of spare parsley, but not much, but...
All right, well, if you just bring it over and just toss it in. It doesn't take much, you know. You don't want to overdo parsley. It's looking kind of thin. I mean, it's still going to be good, don't get me wrong. It's looking kind of thin, but you know what would really thicken it and make it stick to your ribs is if we had just a few potatoes to put in there. You know, potatoes really thicken it up just right.
Excuse me. I think I have a couple of potatoes under my bed.
Oh, you do? Oh, bless you. That's where I always keep mine, too, when I have them. Yes, if you could just bring them, I guarantee you this is really going to be great soup.
All right, I'll go fetch them.
I have some baby potatoes, but they're only tater tots.
You know what goes really well with potatoes? Oh, it's too bad we don't have any carrots. I mean, if we had some carrots, we could make such a great stew, but we don't have any, so I guess I don't care at all.
I think I got a couple carrots out in the back garden.
Oh, well, if you could just bring them along. I mean, if you don't mind, I don't want to trouble you or anything. I don't want to take your last 2 carrots, but...
it's all right. I think I can spare them.
Oh, yeah. Now this is beginning to smell like soup. Oh, you know, I had some stone soup a few years ago, and it was just so heavenly because somebody thought to put onions in it. Oh, I tell you, I just wish we had some onions. It would just make it so incredible.
Hey, I have some onions. I live with a bunch of people who are allergic to them, so here, maybe you can use them.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, it's going to be such a wonderful stew.
Okay, you don't need to get that worked up over it.
No, it's just that I always cry when my eyes are exposed to steam. But you know what would make it so great, so incredible? If somebody had a huge packet of instant soup mix.
I don't have any of that, but I do have some leftover broth, and I think I can go get that for the soup.
Oh, well, that would work. Some leftover broth, and I don't suppose anybody has any cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil by any chance.
Oh, it smells so good.
We're almost there. Yum, yum. Well, yeah, I think it's just about ready to eat. Come on, bring your bowls and your spoons, and let's chow down. This is really good.
Boy, I've never heard people chew soup this loudly.
Oh, this is wonderful. I haven't had this good a soup since, I don't know when.
Oh, I gotta say, you couldn't think of a more appetizing title than Stone Soup. I mean, this ought to have a better name, like potato and instant soup mix and whatever else we put in there.
Here we go. Let me just fish the magic soup stone out of the bottom because I can use that again. There we go.
I gotta get this recipe. It's wonderful. It's so good.
Yeah, I hope it just don't give me kidney stones. So, well, I'm glad everybody liked my soup. Just goes to show you, you bring your resources together and you never know what you might come up with. Sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
That's a mathematically unsound principle.
Well, cooking is not a science, it's an art.
And that's the story of Stone Soup.
Sometimes it takes a village to make a pot of soup. Somebody pointed out that this story is, in one way, sort of the reverse of The Emperor's New Clothes.
How so?
Well, in The Emperor's New Clothes, you have nothing that people pretend is something, and here you have something that people pretend is nothing. They pretend that their food doesn't exist because they want to hoard it, but this fellow tricks them into bringing it out and revealing that, in fact, they do have food. It's sort of a metaphor for art in general. You take what appears to be nothing and then you make something out of it.
Or just resourcefulness, coming up with new solutions and pulling all the resources together so that the job gets done. And this month's Laugh and Learn Ledger is now out online. It's our newsletter, and it features an article about the importance of the arts.
So why are the arts important? How many ways can you think of that the arts benefit a child's development and education?
Well, the arts are being cut everywhere, so they're really not that important, right?
That's what some people would have you think. They would have you think that it's a luxury. But in fact, the arts have a number of benefits for children. They stimulate the imagination. They help develop both critical and creative thinking. They develop teamwork and a sense of self-worth and self-expression.
And we have some key ways that you can help bring arts to children and to your community in this article that we wrote. It's in the Laugh and Learn Ledger, and you can subscribe to our newsletter and read the article and get tour information about our upcoming shows and whatnot in your inbox. All you have to do is look for Activated Audience at yahoogroups.com or check the show notes for links. And there was a very interesting quote that you had in there from Einstein.
Yes, an alleged quote. Nobody is certain that this actually took place, but apparently some woman asked him about what she could do to help her child develop his or improve his performance in math and science. And he said, teach them folk tales.
And what else should I do?
And more folk tales.
What else should he read?
Still more folk tales.
So supposedly Einstein said that.
And you can say something to us by calling on our comments line, which is a new number. We have a new number for our comments line because the old one was consumed by an angry horde of trench coat-wearing wildebeests who were well-versed in the art of alliteration for reasons which are still inexplicable. But our new number for comments and suggestions is 206-426-0436.
I like that one. It's actually kind of easy to remember. It's 206-426-0436. And you can also call us on Skype. We are Gozas on the Go. Again, check our show notes for a link to Skype. And we'll also include links to storyteller.net and links to some bike trails. Maybe you can find one around you if you can't make it to Harrisburg. And links to the Laugh and Learn Ledger.
And for our listeners in Massachusetts, you're going to have a couple chances to see us. Well, see Mom and Dad perform pretty soon coming up here. And that will be in Westboro and Quincy. And what are the dates for those shows?
August 6th is Westboro, and August 12th is Quincy.
So come on by and watch them do a show, and I'll be over with my books at the table.
And I think, too, that we will be live streaming the show from Quincy on August 12th. It'll be a 7 o'clock Eastern showtime, and that should be online that we will be streaming that. So, again, we'll have the link to that on the website and in the show notes.
The day before this podcast is posted online, which will be the day after we're recording it, we'll be performing at the Central Library in Philadelphia. And we hope to do some sightseeing in Philadelphia. A lot of history there.
So we'll tell you about it next time.
The Activated Storytellers perform at schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use American Sign Language, physical comedy, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring the stories to life. For booking information, check our website at www.activated-storytellers.com, where you can also find out when the Activated Storytellers will be performing near you. Read a story or order one of our audio CDs. Until next time.